So this morning I woke up and I thought my hair was still wet from the night before when I showered, but then I realized it was actually just leftover conditioner. So I'm trying to hide it as best as possible. I hate that feeling. If that has ever happened to you, let me know below, but it's just not fun. Hopefully you relate. But today we're doing a if I lost all my makeup. This is basically the makeup collection that I would go out and buy to do a full face of look. There's a mix of drugstore and high-end stuff, and this was actually really fun to pick out because these are just all of my basically all-time favorite products, so they're really good ones. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. We are in Natural Light again today. I definitely like how it looks better for makeup tutorials. Let me know if you do as well. Sometimes Studio Light can just really wash things out, but I do still use my studio for, just other talking videos. But to get started, I did want to mention a makeup type skincare product that I would get. I would just get some sort of mist to sort of prep my skin with and use as a setting spray, so sort of dual purpose. The one that I like is this Heritage Store Rosewater and Glycerin Hydrating Facial Mist. This is just a classic. This one I got from iHerb. So if you've never tried that, it's super simple. It's literally water, glycerin, and rose flower oil. Glycerin is nice for holding moisture in, so I do already have my skincare on, which by the way, my skin's been so dry and I've had dermatitis around my mouth, which happened from a NARS foundation that I had tried out, and it just hasn't been going away. It's actually getting a little bit better, but I definitely need all the hydration and soothing I could get. Love the scent of it. It just smells like rose. Now for primer, you might know I'm not a huge primer person. I don't really like silicone based primers because they don't usually go with my foundation. So I like something more hydrating and juicy and glowy. So I would definitely get the RMS Beauty Re-Evolve Radiance Locking Primer. I just tried this recently, but it's quickly become one of my favorite primers. It just makes your skin look so good and makeup goes very well on top of it, no matter really the type or formula of foundation. Doing about 2 pumps, I was actually 3 pumps of this. By the way, I do have an RMS code. I keep forgetting to share it in a video. I believe it's for 20% off their site. I will put it on the screen here and in the description below, which I mean, that's a great discount. It's basically just they're always having a Sephora type sale. So I will put that below if you're ever interested or need anything from RMS. I'm just applying this and rubbing it in. Super gentle on my skin, just nice and juicy. It goes really well over that rose water and glycerin spray as well. A little bit sticky, but it's not super tacky like a gripping primer. I'm not a huge fan of those. That can make my foundation look really patchy, but this just sinks in nicely but still has enough grip to grab onto your foundation. Now for sponges, I would totally grab the Shop Miss A sponges off of Amazon. They come in a 10-pack. They're the most affordable sponge that I found and the best. They're like the old Real Technique sponges before they changed them to be very it's a much more rough texture now, and it doesn't apply at all the same. These are that nice smooth texture, better than Beauty Blender, and they work and they come in a big pack. I am going to go ahead and dampen this. I'll be right back. For foundation, this was actually kind of a hard thing for me to pick. There are a lot of foundation formulas that I enjoy, but in terms of my holy grails, if the Bite Beauty foundation still existed, I would definitely buy that. I do have a stockpile, but this is if I lost all my makeup. So my next in line would be the Kosas Revealer Foundation. I do love a lot about this formula. It has SPF in it as well. It can be a tiny bit heavy on the skin, but the reason I picked this is because the shade also matches me as well. That's a big playing part in the foundations that I like, because if I feel my foundation shade is off, I don't really like how the foundation looks. This is definitely my pick. I do really like the Neutrogena CC cream that just came out, but unfortunately there's just not a shade for me, which is so disappointing, even though I love that formula. So Kosas is definitely a really good one that I would totally pick up as my foundation. And I do use the lightest shade, by the way, very light neutral 100. It does seem to have slight olive undertones. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get anything out of this because I'm really running out of it, so we might have to scrape some out. That's a good sign that this is definitely one of my favorite foundations, that it is almost empty. She is well loved. All right, I'm just gonna start scraping it from the bottle, trying to apply it. If you have dry skin, I think this is a really great formula. It doesn't cling to dryness, and it really does help moisturize and soothe your skin. I just love foundations that also have skincare aspects to them. especially now that I have like, you know, I'm breaking out in a little dermatitis rash and my skin is just like dry and sensitized. Another good trick is if you'd like to do this, you can use your hands and rub this in and then do a sponge, which really helps take down the thickness that it could sort of look like. That gives a little bit more coverage too, but I don't mind, so I'm just going in with my sponge and dabbing this sucker in. What I really love about this is, like I mentioned, it has the SPF in it as well, which if your foundation has SPF in it, I still highly recommend wearing SPF under it because you have to apply a lot of SPF to get the even amount of coverage. So you're not really going to want to use that for your foundation, right? Like it's kind of just a boost to SPF is how I think of it. So especially in the summer when I know I'm getting like a lot of sun exposure, this is just my go-to on top of my sunscreen. Just makes me feel a little bit more covered. So this foundation can look a little bit thick, but maybe that was just when my skin was like more oily because like I mentioned, my skin is just like very dry and irritated right now. And it is loving this formula. And that shade match, you just can't beat it. It's so pretty. I don't even feel like I need another layer of this really great medium coverage. If there's any new foundations you want to see me review, let me know. My skin's been irritated, so I've kind of been like hesitant about trying new formulas, but so the Say Beauty foundation came out, which you guys wanted me to review. I've been hearing bad things about it and people saying like it's very glowy and like can get cakey and break down, which for me, those are like always my issues even with regular foundation, so I'm even more hesitant about trying it. I might still try it, I don't know, it might do well with my dry skin that is like kind of totally changed from oily to dry. But let's move on to my next product. I would definitely pick up the Pixi by Petra little brightening concentrate, either this or the e.l.f. one. This one is a little bit more thick and moisturizing, which I'm liking more at the moment. Where did my mirror go? Whenever I'm filming in here, I like don't have a big mirror, so I have to use this tiny little one. And this is self-explanatory, but this is just correcting my dark circles, so I don't have to use quite as much concealer. I'm actually gonna do bronzer before concealer because my bronzer pick is a cream bronzer stick from Rare Beauty. They just came out with new shades of these, including a lighter shade, so I'm definitely interested, but I feel like I should just use this one up. This one is Happy Soul, which is a little bit warm for me, but this is the most seamless blendable formula. It's so easy to apply and it just works all the time, which is the reason why I would get it. Also use it like a little bit as contour. I'm just noticing it's like very orange in natural light, but it looks fine when I blend it out. And it's super pigmented. I just like to go in with my sponge to blend this out. It like just melts into the skin. Beautiful. I'm not a huge Rare Beauty fan, but this is one of her products that I do really love. To be fair, I haven't tried a lot of the new products, like the highlight actually looks really good, and the lip products. I just really haven't been buying a ton of makeup because I have so much of it that I'm trying to use what I have. And I also don't want to like keep pushing new products on you guys. I know that it's nice to obviously like review new products, but it's expensive and I'm trying to pay my taxes. So if you did see my community post about this, our car got broken into and my blend bag, my phone, and my wallet was stolen. So that was unfortunate, and one of the products I was going to include in this was in my bag. It was a lip product, the Victoria Beckham gloss in like the nude shade. So RIP to that. Now that bronzer is blended, my concealer pick is kind of obvious. The Jouer concealer, the shade Lace. It's a great shade, it's a great formula, it's full coverage. I could also use this on my face and under my eyes. So it's just one of those where if I had no concealer, this would definitely be the one that I would pick out. Tried and true. You only need a little bit for under the eyes. I don't really have any like active blemishes right now, which is surprising. Sometimes I'll do a little bit between my brows. And then just using the other side of my sponge that I didn't use the bronzer with to blend this in. This also just blends out so well. Like a lot of these products I've noticed are like low effort, Probably why they're my favorite. It's just easy to use on a day-to-day basis. Like I know they're gonna look good and they never fail me. My powder pick would be the Ilia Soft Focus Finishing Powder. Beautiful under the eyes and all over the face. It's non-drying, it doesn't deepen my face, and it's a beautiful formula. This one is empty because I still haven't repurchased it, trying to go through ones I already have. So I'm gonna have to use a different one today, but this would totally be the one that I would pick up in the world where I lost all my makeup and had to buy new stuff. So instead of that, I'm gonna use this Laura Mercier brightening powder. I do really like this because it is brightening. It has a little bit of shimmer in it, which is kind of annoying, and it's slightly drying, but it does the job. I forgot to bring up my under eye brush, so I'm using this little Haley's Beauty brush that I actually do occasionally use under my eyes. It's nice if you want to like get a more precise look. See, I just love like a powder that doesn't change my face color is really appreciated. Usually they're just too dark. Next, just taking whatever's left in the cap. I'm gonna very lightly set my face, not too much because my skin has been crying for moisture lately. All right, for blush, I would get the RMS Beauty French Rose Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. I would have picked my Han Cosmetics Baby Pink blush, but mine I just completely used up. It was the old one. Someone actually let me know that they might have changed the formula of that to be a different shade, which is so disappointing. But I've been really enjoying this one. It is a bit brighter than like my usual baby pink, but I love the shimmer in this. It's a baked formula, so it is super pretty and adds a lot of dimension to the face. And by the way, again, I have that RMS discount code. If you wanted to pick this up, I would get it from their site, so you get the code using a Trixie Cosmetics Lush brush. And then I just like to start building this up on the backs of my cheekbones. It's just like, you see the glow, but it does not look like you have any shimmer on your face really. Such a beautiful formula. This can be very pigmented easily, so I like to build it up versus going in with too much, which I have done recently, but sometimes too much blush is a look. And I always like to sort of like blend it into my eye socket almost. Kind of makes it look more natural because you don't want any like harsh edges. For highlight, I was sort of debating between my Laura Mercier baked highlight, the Hourglass powder that I have, not a highlight powder, but it is a highlight to me, or this Dior highlight palette. And I picked this one because I would probably pick this one up because I can either have my white highlight or I could create a pink one. So it's really nice to have multiple colors. And then this I will sometimes use, like maybe mix with this one as like a bronzer topper or as eyeshadow. So I like something that can be used for multiple things, which is really great. So today I'm just gonna mix these two shades, and this I would say is one of my more dramatic highlights that I wear nowadays. My other ones are like very finely milled, barely there shimmers. This one, if you apply it lightly, it's very pretty, especially on top of this like already glowy blush. Alrighty, good stuff. For my brows, it would 100,000,000% be my NYX micro brow pencil in taupe. It's just tried and true. I'm really scared to try other brow pencils because of the shade. That's sort of the hardest thing for me to get right. I just love the precise tip of this. I do like the Benefit brow pencil as well, but this one is so much less expensive and basically the same formula. So this is always gonna be with me when I'm doing my brows. The color's not perfect. It's like a little slightly dark than I would prefer it, but sometimes I put light powder over it and it looks fine. And then for brow gel, I would grab the Kosas Brow Pop. This is just the clear version. I like it the best, more than like the colored ones. Just my preference though, I always prefer a clear brow gel. And this one has pretty good hold. It's not super strong, but it also doesn't get that like crunchy look. So it's a really solid brow gel. I do also really like the Brow Pop pencil, but I think the NYX one, I would probably grab that one. Moving on to eyes, I would 100% get the Stone Cold Vox palette from Colourpop. This is a bigger palette. By the way, I tried to clean this up for you guys and I made it worse. So please ignore this like area here. But I would grab this because I could do a dramatic look, a natural look. It has everything I need, including bright white shades to highlight. It has shimmers and mattes. I also use this as eyeliner. I use this every single day. It is perfect neutral tones for me, so it's just perfect. So I'm going to start with this shade called Trip, and I mix it with this shade called Stranger. These are just my light transition shades, and I use a fluffy brush to blend these in. Oh, I forgot to mention this, but if I had to pick a powder bronzer, it would be this Pure Bronzing Act. If you have fair skin, it's just the lightest, most natural looking bronzer. And then depending on like what kind of tones I want to do for the day, I'll either use this pink row, or I'll do more of like these neutral warmish browns, or like these muted purples. I'm going to take a little bit of this shade called Ghost Town, which is one of the muted purples, and I'm just going to pat this on the outer corner of my eye. I like using a fluffy brush to just feather it inwards. I did use those same first two shades on my bottom lash line, by the way. Well, there goes all the light. And then I'm taking this tiny dome brush. If the lighting looks different, by the way, I just had to change my camera settings because it just randomly got cloudy out and you couldn't see anything. Oh, anyway, I'm gonna take this cream and this white shade. Let me give you a good close-up of this. Those two. One is shimmery and one is not. And I just like to start working these in the inner corner, and then I'll do whatever's extra on my brow bone. Now I'm taking this shimmery pink in this bottom corner and then just applying this all over the lid. So I would use this or the Dior highlight color. Okay, now the sun's come back out. Hold on. All right, hopefully that looks semi-normal again. And then just doing the same on this eye. Super simple everyday look. I mean, really nothing special. And then for my liner, you could tell I either use this purple, deep purple, this muted brown, or I will go in with like some of the shimmery shades, but I'm gonna use a little bit of the purple. And I just like to do powdered liner, but I did also bring up the NYX Epic Wear liquid liner in brown because I would also want a liquid liner as well, and that's the one I would pick up. The formula is really good. This is essentially the look I do every day, by the way, so it's sort of like an updated everyday makeup video as well. It's either some variation of this. Sometimes I'll do more pink, but it is usually looking basically like this. And then I would also have to pick up one of the NYX Epic Wear stick liners, and this is the one in Rose Gold. This is one that has a lot of shimmer in it. It's neutral, and it's one of my favorite tricks to make your eyes pop is to just put it on the top and bottom lash line or just the top lash line. This is just something I really can't live without because it just will like amp up any look, and I love how versatile these are, and they're super long lasting. So I'm just running this basically over the powdered liner, and then just smudging a little bit on the lower lash line too. For a lash curler, I would have to get this plume one, which I thought was really weird to hold at first. Now that I'm used to it, every other lash curler feels weird. So I would have to repurchase this one. First because it's good, but also because I've just become used to the shape of it. I forgot to hit record when I was doing my mascara after I changed my settings again. So I used the Maybelline Sky High Mascara, which is an obvious pick for me. It is lengthening, volumizing, non-clumpy, it doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, drugstore price, what's not to love. And then I also picked the NYX Nude Beige Lip Liner. It's a really nice, cool nude, which can be very hard to find for like fair skin tones. And these are also really long lasting, affordable. Did I mention that one already? I don't know, they're just great. They do have other shades that I like, but this one is my staple. I also wanted to mention a more moisturizing like lip treatment. This is from Euphoria. I've been loving this. Most like lip oils or treatments, if they're not the right shade, they look very off on me, especially if I don't have other makeup on. This is so nice. It looks like it might be like too purple in the bottle. I mean, it is like kind of a straight up purple color, but on my lips, I will show you what it looks like, because I would wear this with lip liner as well. It's just the prettiest purple. I think it looks really nice with my undertones. It's not a lip gloss per se, like it does have a really nice amount of pigment, but it's not sticky and it's not oily either. It stays for quite some time, which is one of my favorite things about it. You can get this brand at Credo. Really, really love this one, and the shade name is 3 AM, by the way. My lipstick pick would definitely be the MAC Viva Glam 2 lipstick. Another shade that is just one of my favorite shades that I own, and I love this formula. It is a pink, but it's muted and cool toned, so it's very flattering. And I really like these lipstick formulas. Way better than like the Charlotte Tilbury matte formulas, although this is like technically a satin. It just doesn't like accentuate my lips, my dry lips. And it applies so smoothly and evenly. I could bring it with me. It's just my perfect neutral, and it works with so many other looks as well. I would also want to pick up the Colourpop freckle pen to do my freckles with, or my moles. This one's the shade Soft Brown. I had this for a long time. I actually need a new one. But I just like to go in my existing spots and redarken them. I just like this little touch. I feel like it makes your makeup look more natural, because it's like, oh, are those just showing through? Does she not have base makeup on? I would also want to grab a gloss. I would pick up the Victoria Beckham lip gloss. I wouldn't probably get the clear shade. I would probably get, I believe it's called Bikini, but that was in my purse that got stolen. RIP to that lip gloss as well, but I have the clear shade here, so this is the one that I would pick up as a gloss. It's non-sticky. Really luxurious formulas, and they're just so pretty on the lips. I'm probably not going to put it on today. I'm just sticking with the matte satiny MAC finish. And then finally I did pick another setting spray besides my Rosewater and Glycerin one. This was like my prep spray, but also works as a setting spray. But I would also want to get a setting spray that extends the wear of my makeup. So this would be the Thrive Cosmetics Instant Makeup Fix. This is great in humidity, or if you're going to be somewhere hot, your makeup like tends to melt off. This does actually extend the wear. Really like this one. But since my skin is a little bit dry right now, I think I'm going to stick with my Glycerin and Rosewater one. So that was my full bag of makeup of things that I would buy if I lost all my makeup. Hopefully that never happens. It would be really hard to lose all of my makeup unless my house burned down, which I don't want to think about. But thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know any video ideas you have below. I'm always open to suggestions. So let me know in the comments below what is one or several of your like go-to makeup products that if you lost all of your makeup that you would have to repurchase. I would love to know your favorites, but I will see you in my next video. Bye.